Hello, Wellspring. I know I've been a little bit late on some of these videos, so we're going to play a little bit of a catch up. Um, Today, we are going to dig into Proverbs 9 and Proverbs 31 to cover our readings from the 13th and 14th of June. And then I will also get caught up on the rest of these videos. We'll get Ecclesiastes 3 and 12 in the next video, and then we will be caught back up with Song of Solomon in the third video that I'll release today. So thanks for being patient with me. Hopefully you've been continuing on with the readings, but if you haven't, here's a good chance to catch up for you, to catch up along with me. So let's dig into the Word and hear this final section of this passage. This poem's kind of written, these couplets that are kind of written in Proverbs in chapter 9 to a young person or to a person seeking wisdom. So let's hear what the word of the Lord has to say to us. This is from the NIV. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, come eat my food, drink my wine. I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insults. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers, for they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house, on a seat at the highest point of the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, stolen water is sweet. Food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. So I find one of the things that jumps out to me in that chapter, in that section of Proverbs, is this idea that those who will rebuke, or when you rebuke someone, if they reject it, if they push away from you, they're not wise. They're the ones who are in folly. But if you receive a rebuke and then apply it to your life and apply the things that you need correction in to your life, all of a sudden now you're the person who's wise. And so when you receive rebuke or when you receive correction and then you apply it to your life, or you apply the direction or the correction that's given to you, that puts you in the seat of the wise. And so it just reminds me about God's discipline, how God disciplines those whom he loves, and how his discipline is for our benefit. And so when you encounter a situation where someone has wisdom to offer you or a correction to give you, and as you think about it and process it and take it in, if it's wise, if it's good advice, if it's good correction for your life, if it's for your benefit and you apply it, you sit in the seat of the wise and you don't end up in the space of rejecting wisdom, right? And that's just something good for us to remember and hold on to, the value of a friend or brother or sister or spiritual leader, or even directly from God himself or from his word. When it corrects you, apply that correction to your life so that you can step into the fullness of wisdom. Now we're going to jump into Proverbs 31. And this is a section that talks about the value of a woman, of a wife who is godly, who is raising up her children in the way they should go, who is contributing to the community of faith, who is building up her family, her culture, the people around her, and just the value of that. So let's take a moment and hear what Proverbs 31 has to tell us. The sayings of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance his mother taught him. Listen, my son. Listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answers to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what they had been decreed, and deprive all the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good and not harm all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Yeah, so this section of scripture is affirming the value of a graceful, generous, diligent, hardworking woman who's full of integrity, and how much she blesses her family and the people around her, how she works diligently to provide for her family, to care for the needs of her family. And it's just marking out all of these things of what marks a dignified woman, what marks a godly woman, what marks a charitable woman. And I understand there's some cultural differences that we may have, right, with the way that we view women and view our wives as compared to some of the language that's used here. You know, we see she makes linens and she makes sure her family's clothed. And I know our mothers and sisters and wives do a lot of those things in some sense, but that can be applied in different ways, right? The idea here is that it's a diligent woman who is full of wisdom, who is living with integrity, who brings honor to her family, who takes care of the needs of her family in whatever way that goes about. I know several women who are the main providers for their family, where um, they are the ones who are working a job, and that's a different. It's a different cultural concept in one sense, but it meets right up in line with what's being said here, that they're being caregivers to their family, that they're watching over them, that they're leading their family in good ways, in beautiful ways. And yes, God has established certain patterns and certain structures within the family that a husband or a father should be the spiritual head of the home and lead the home. But it doesn't diminish or take away from the role that women play and the incredible ability that they have to both bring honor to their family, to their husband, to themselves, with their integrity, with their dignity, with the life of efficiency and diligent work, in whatever facet that looks like in our culture. And so I'm not saying that this idea that the woman has to be at home or be a home or a homemaker is necessarily the way that this text has to translate, right? There's many ways in which a woman can fulfill this passage or be a godly woman in these spaces. And it doesn't just mean being a stay-at-home mom or just doing the traditional Hebrew culture process of being a woman who just cares for the family. And I say just cares for the family. That's a bad way to say it. The reality is caring for your family is an incredible responsibility and duty. And it provides a lot of benefit to your family when you do that well. And so really what this is just talking about is just having having women like this in your life, or for a son or for a man to connect to a woman like this. And it references this idea that beauty is fleeting, right? That the physical appearances, those things aren't the most important things. The most important things is this woman a God-fearing woman? And so when I talk to my children about looking for a spouse or looking for someone that they could potentially build a life with, I can reflect back on this passage and talk to them about the necessity of not being so concerned with what's on the outside, not being so concerned with what the world looks at as the most beautiful attributes or the most important things. Because there are moments and times where those things are very surface and the person underneath is not a very deep person. And so the importance of looking for someone who's got depth, who's got quality in their personhood and who they are, that surpasses the need of the surface desires that the world may put on us, right? And the beauty of that. It's interesting. I just had a conversation with one of the people that I work with at Samaritan's Purse. They've been married, I think they said, for 47 years, if I remember correctly, which is amazing. And one of the things that the husband said to me was, the further we go in our journey, the more beautiful my wife becomes, and the more intriguing she is, the more I desire her, the more I have love and passion for her. And the more I pour into her, the more I see her grace and beauty grow. And they reflected on this idea that they can often tell in a woman's life how much her husband and her children invest in her and how much they appreciate her, because that comes out in this sense of grace and beauty and dignity that flows and grows over time as they pour into her, as she's pouring into them, and it becomes this beautiful thing of passing back and forth the integrity of the woman being blessed by the children, being blessed by the husband, being blessed by the community that's around her, and that those two things feed back and forth into each other, and that her quality and her integrity and her dignity emerges in this beautiful way that demonstrates uh, more and more beauty. That as she ages, it's like a fine wine, and she becomes more and more dignified, more and more beautiful, more and more graceful. I just thought it was a really interesting conversation. So I just encourage you to take a moment, connect with your mom, connect with your wife, connect with your daughters, invest in them in a way that builds their dignity, that builds their grace, that builds their character, because that is going to last for eternity. While this natural beauty is fleeting and it's skin deep and it doesn't last forever, we can build up people's character and we can be blessed by their character and their dignity and their quality. So, with that in mind, Wellspring, take a moment and bless the women in your lives. Women, bless the husbands, the men in your lives, your spiritual leaders. Your just take a moment to bless one another and encourage one another. Like Proverbs says there at the end of this section, her children will raise up and call her blessed, and her husband will praise her. Let's do that for each other. Let's build up each other's dignity and allow our quality to be what's reflected. And it's my prayer that all of us would reflect more and more beauty, the beauty of Christ in our quality, in our dignity, in our integrity, in our honor as we grow in age. God bless you, Wellspring. Have a great day.